Okay, she's all ready to go. Okay. 6:59. Oh, that's a nice building. The picture.
Great stuff, yeah.
Hello, Ashley.
Hey, everyone.
All right.
Hey, Ashley.
Okay, are we set up, Autumn? Okay, welcome everyone to the Village of New Paltz Zoning Board of Appeals, regularly scheduled meeting of Tuesday, February 14th in the year 2023. We have one item on the agenda that we'll be addressing tonight. Real quick, we've had an ongoing adjournment of ZB 22-01, 123rd Main Street. It's the appeal of an action or an interpretation by our building inspector. Can I get a motion to adjourn that till the March 14th, 2023 meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Autumn, that is adjourned to our next meeting, which I will probably have to either do in Arizona. I will be in Arizona on March 14th. So I will either do it through Zoom or I won't be here. All right, so we'll talk about that in relation to if we have a vote, what we do here.
I actually also know that I'll be at a work thing.
So
Away
that
out of
means
town.
we will have quorum in the room, so that means that meeting will not be able to take
Okay.
place. Either
Uh,
need to schedule.
I'm out of New Paltz from the 3rd to the 17th. Okay, so that's a Friday to a Friday across 2 weeks.
First,
I could do it later that month, or I can do it earlier that month, depending on possibly what we get done here tonight. Okay, so this would only be our applicant at 137 Main, North Chestnut. I said that in front of the man today too, Main Street, 137 North Chestnut, as far as going forward. So, real quick.
So did you want to discuss a new meeting date for March? Because I think we should adjourn 123
We
Main
could see
Street.
what we're going to
That-
do here tonight. I mean, if we are able to get, we have am I opening up the public hearing tonight, or am I hearing voices for the public hearing tonight?
So the public
put everything
hearing
out.
was open already and it was continued
Let's
to this
continue.
meeting, but just going back to, because you did adjourn 123 Main Street to March 14th, and that's not going to be a meeting. So I think
Oh, okay.
we should pick a day. Pick a day and then reschedule that.
Adjourn it to our
meeting,
next
and-
meeting right now, if you want to just say that, Autumn, and then we can probably work out something at the end of tonight's meeting, rather than bandy it about while we have
Is
folks
that
here.
okay with you, Ashley? If we say we'll just adjourn to our next meeting and then kick the.
Sure, so if you could just then modify or
Yes.
adjourn April 11th.
Well, we were just saying, actually, we'd adjourn to our next meeting and then maybe reschedule the 14th of March to the.
Okay,
7th.
understood.
Semantics.
Can you change that automatically, or do I need
Yeah,
to make a
yeah,
motion?
I mean.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a public hearing that's open for 100, or I need, excuse me, did I keep it? We went through this last time. Did I decide to keep it open?
It was, yeah, you kept it open, so
I'll have
it's
to make a
already
motion.
open, so if there's anyone from the public, or if you want to start with the applicant to get an overview.
No, let's start, let's real quickly. We have one person here right now. Is there anybody here to speak on a public hearing for 137 North Chestnut Street? Is there anybody online? Is there anybody who sent us any emails or written? We have one from the Preservation Society, which I'll address shortly, but I just, yeah. so-
That's the one we have.
Yeah, that's the only written documentation we have?
An email related to the planning application for this applicant, asking if you were putting enough bike racks. Over that to you as well.
Okay. All righty. So with that said, did everybody get a chance? So I'll keep the public hearing open just while we talk about the letter from the Historical Preservation Committee. Did everybody get a chance to read that? Does everybody have any questions or anything they want to discuss about, or have any disagreements with what the Historical Society?
Where does their territory end?
It's the exact boundary.
Yes.
You always ask the tough questions. Well, we know it's in historic New Paltz. right? So wherever the lines for historic
So
New Paltz,
is
I
the-
guess it is
the
zoned.
Village, is it the village? Like, I mean, they're
No, it's
just,
smaller than that.
okay.
I don't know, because they wanted to talk to me when I was trying to do something about my windows, so.
Well, maybe we're talking two different things. We have the Historical Society, which is down there, and then you have the Historical Preservation, which could be for any building, anywhere in the
Okay.
village. So I would imagine that they're,
Society?
yeah, well, hold on, the Historical Society.
So they have a handshake?
Commission
Yeah.
slash.
We get a lot of
design
acronyms here.
I think we're talking about like the
There were
village.
a lot of.
So I don't think I saw that letter, but was it from the Historic Preservation Commission?
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, so
So-
that's all over. Wherever there's a building in the village, they have a purview to look at and determine its historical significance or if any.
Review board and historical-
Not
Yeah.
necessarily every building, but I know this is in the MBR district, I believe, and I think that it's part of those regulations that when you're building there, or it
Okay.
could also be due to the proximity to historic Huguenot Street in the downtown historic district.
It was a request from the planning board, Mr. Chairman, that we go in front of them. They don't have a requirement. We don't have a requirement for a certificate of appropriateness.
Yeah,
But it was just a request.
you're right there, you're over there, so.
No, I was just wondering where the line was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's in the MBR regulations
Uh,
that
Related
require
to the
their
zoning
review.
ordinance. Okay, that was the other thing. We really don't have any buildings outside of that that are historical anyway. Okay, so has everybody had a chance to read that? Any disagreements with it? It was in favor of the applicant. They were behind it. So do I need to present that into the record, Ashley, or are we good with that?
Yeah, you've just acknowledged it. I think if you just
Okay.
say you received it and the date perhaps of the letter.
Okay. Well, we received an email today from the Historical Preservation Committee, the Design and Review Board of that committee. Today of February 14th, it was in favor for the applicant. And we acknowledged it as a board and we have no questions beyond what he wrote.
Was there any follow-up from your perspective with those guys?
They had some ideas of like colors and window trim
Uh-huh.
that we're gonna address with AJ Capola when we meet with him actually tomorrow. We have meetings out just for that.
And we plan to be back in front of them for further comment and review.
All right, so we are under an open public hearing. I don't see anybody else here for 137 North Chestnut, so I'm going to make a motion to close public hearing.
I'm not sure if I should do this before or after, just in regard to that, other than just saying that they were on your side with it, they didn't have any other comments about the height in that area. It was just, oh, okay.
Their statement, in fact, was they found that it was appropriate considering the reason we're asking for the height and why we're
Yeah, for the parapet.
parapeting and screening the
And they
equipment.
like the.
They like that idea.
Okay.
Okay, all right, then can I get a motion then to close the public hearing for 137 North Chestnut?
Motion.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so the public hearing is closed for 137 North Chestnut Street. Okay, with that said, would the applicants like to come up and present us with the latest iteration of what you've got? And
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman.
we'll see what we have to discuss. I did see that you've increased your affordable housing from 5 to 6.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. So we made a change on the first floor of the project. If you look here, we originally had commercial space throughout. We've cut that commercial space in half, and on the backside, we've added in these 5 additional units, bringing our total unit count to 51, making our requirement to be 5.1 affordable housing units per the minimum, and thus there'll be 6 now. In doing this change, we have also been able to reduce our parking requirements on the site. So we're going to step down our blacktop area, our impervious area by 10 spaces.
And that's because the commercial required more.
Commercial would require more. And it's also the belief, and we're in the process of updating our traffic study for the planning board, that our trip generation will fall as a result as well. So it'll be less of an impact with trip generation. And that report is going to be completed and then submitted to the planning board on the 22nd for the review at their March meeting. So those are some of the most immediate changes. In addition, we had previously proposed a 12-foot high first floor height. We've reduced that to 11 feet and taken that additional foot and added it to the rooftop to give us a higher parapet. And if I show you here, that allows us then to put all of the HVAC equipment on the roof and to be able to properly screen that so it would not be visible from any view of the building from any of the sides.
The two dimensions in the figure to the right of the parapet hedge and the machinery are
Right over here.
similar or, sorry,
Sure.
okay.
In addition, originally, we had proposed the building to have the facade be broken up into brick and siding. We've then now taken that and wrapped it around the entire building, so it's not just going to be sided all the way around. One suggestion that came out of last night is the possibility of, rather than siding on the front, for that to possibly become brick. We're exploring that with AJ Capola. That came from the design review board as a suggestion for the facade in the front of the building. And so those are some of the main changes, and here's the other views for you as well.
Can I see the back of this one again?
Absolutely. Oh, the rooftop one.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your.
See that a little closer. If you flip that around, you'll see the new first floor as well.
So, well, the roof parapet. This is the height of the standard or of the high part? The 3'2".
The 3'2" will be of the highest point.
The two sections that have the,
That you can see on that rear courtyard.
Correct.
elevation.
yeah. Which I'm assuming that these are relatively like they're spaced to line up with that. Is that
That's correct.
the configuration? So it's higher screening in those sections by using the facade is.
That will be see here.
And the units are approximately 22 inches high.
22, yeah, 22 inches. I saw that on the back.
Yeah.
And even the low spots are 1.5 or 1.5 on that. Not that it necessarily has a lot to do with the height, other than the fact that it's carried more throughout the design, but just as a note, I do appreciate the south view being broken visually, and we discussed that.
Yeah.
That was gonna be a whole lot of blank wall.
Agreed. I think that's a really nice improvement.
How about the heating elements? Where they're on the roof, we talked about
Right.
that going on the roof. No, I saw that.
They were initially,
Yeah.
some of them were on the ground, some were on the roof.
Oh, that's
Then
great.
through your guidance, we made the changes with the parapet, lowered the building of the height of the building a little bit, which brings the construction cost down a little bit, keeps the project a little more affordable for the residents. And also allowed us to bring the parapet up a little higher and get all the equipment on the roof out of the site of anyone. Even if you were parallel with the roof looking at it, you wouldn't see the equipment.
So you got over 60 of them on the roof,
72.
72. Wow.
I'm sorry, did you say that you would reduce the height? So is it now a lesser variance than you originally applied for?
Well, we lowered the actual
No, it's
roof
just like
height
variance.
and raised the parapet up that difference. So the total building height will be the same. Of what, that was in an effort to make sure that we didn't see any equipment from anywhere on the ground. And get the
That's
rest of
awesome.
the equipment up onto the roof.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, you. In my opinion, you took away from something that isn't going to hurt the first floor commercial. You were able to keep the parts that you were strong about, that we discussed heavily. And, it's definitely going to be a more attractive building. because of
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that, none whatsoever.
You made it pretty.
37 foot tall building that doesn't have a, you know, the one side looks like the bottom of a bridge, you know, kind of
Yes,
just
right,
flat.
agreed 100%.
And again, it's not entirely 37 feet tall. It's only at those highest points of the parapet,
Yes.
so.
So it might be, which is something we could look at, but you might not need as big of a variance because there is, I believe, exceptions in the zoning code for parapets and some other rooftop structures. So you might want to look
What
at that.
Did you have the building inspector take a look at it? Is it still 2 feet 4 inches is the variance,
I
37?
believe
feet
that
four?
in Corey's memo to the planning board,
Okay,
we were referring.
We'll vote on
to-
that. you're not gonna need more.
No,
Okay, so if we do 2 feet 4 inches and you do 2 feet 1 inch, we'll tell them.
Okay.
Okay,
fine with
we'll be
that.
all right with that. So, I don't want to push this too quickly, but so far you've seemed to have incorporated all the changes that we suggested. And although this has no bearing on us, I was very pleased to see that we've got an extra unit in for affordable housing, which I think is wonderful asset to have. And then what is the savings on that? Just my own edification. Is it 60% of what it would normally be?
It'll be
Correct?
60% AMI unit.
Okay. Do we have any other further questions from anybody on the board?
No.
If that's the case, then I'd like to just take us through the 5 factors and we can probably get
If I
to.
could
I knew that was
Just
gonna
step in there. So you might recall that the planning board is acting as lead agency under seeker for this project, so you won't
Have we
be
got
able
the
to take,
secret?
you won't be able to take any action this evening. And I think because the planning board, one of your factors, as you know, is considering the impact on the environment. I think it would be wise to have the planning board secret determination before you delve into those.
Well, how about if whatever we do is contingent upon the planning board coming through with the secret all intact and properly
They have
aligned?
to, you won't be able to make a decision until you have their secret completed.
And I'm looking at the floor plan on the thing. I don't think, have you told them that you're gonna cut down the professional space by half?
Yes, we've submitted that.
And they're totally cool with that, because I'm looking at that and that would raise a huge red flag if I was on that committee, that they're gonna.
It's allowed in the zone and it actually, it becomes less of an impact on the site.
Your original, like, the commercial was basically because you had to. Like, the point of the building was never to have large amounts of.
The only reason for commercial is because of the
Yeah.
MBR zoning requirements.
Yeah,
But you are allowed to not have commercial on the first floor if it is accessible units. And in this case, these units will be accessible units.
yeah, your biggest challenge will be renting the commercial, not the residential would be
At
my
this point
guess.
in time, yes.
Absolutely. It may change, hopefully it
Yeah.
does, but it may
Okay.
change. Right now, the last 2-3 years. Been tough. So Ashley, so that I understand
And
this
one
correct.
more comment as well. I don't know if you've received comments back from the Ulster County Planning Board yet.
Autumn, have we received any comments from the Ulster County Planning?
Yes, they've been added to the file.
Oh, is there anything that we need to
Oh,
review,
I'm
look at?
sorry, I think I included them all in the planning file, my mistake.
That's okay. Is there anything in there that we need to know about, look at? Anything that would impact? So while Autumn's doing that, Ashley, as our attorney and someone who we delve a tremendous amount of, wrong word, we'll delve, but we put a tremendous amount of faith in to guide us legally. We cannot conduct any type of vote or go through any of the factors tonight without having a secret approved through the town, through the village planning.
So you can talk about the factors, but I'd say that because the one factor does require you to consider environmental impacts, I think that your discussions there should note that you're going to continue those after you have the secret determination. So you could discuss the other ones and perhaps hold off on that one for now. And then that's correct. You couldn't take any vote until you had the secret determination. I did speak to the applicant's attorney a week or so ago, and he indicated that the applicant would consent to extend the time frame for you to make a decision. Usually you have 62 days from the close of the public hearing. So they would extend that because in the event it takes the planning board longer than the 62 days, I would just ask the applicant to note that on the record that they are waiving that 62 days.
Okay. All right, so then if we do debate this and go through this for our applicant, we would skip number 4, which is the environmental impact. Before,
Well, should we well, what is your thought on doing some of it now and some of it later in terms of the debate?
Yeah, I think we should just do it all at once.
You want to do it all at
Yeah.
once?
I mean, I think we can
Yeah.
say, I think we can clearly say that you addressed all the problems that we had. So I think you can see where this is leaning.
Yeah,
I don't think we need to go through all the
I,
four steps.
I came in expecting to think.
Yeah, how about we just go through this? Why don't you tell them what you like, everybody tell them what you like, if there's something you don't like, I don't want this could be 60 days, he may have other things, I would like him to get a pretty good thought to where we would be looking at directionally in regards to this
Yeah.
variance, and that's as
I
diplomatic
think
as I
he
can
can
say
see
it,
it.
so.
I think he knows where we are.
For me, you made all the changes.
Yeah.
I think the building looks pretty good. Good luck with the secret, and then we'll go back and we'll take we'll look at this for you, but I've been very impressed with it.
And thank you
John,
for
you
filling
think-
out the form.
You got anything else you want to add? No, we'll go through each guy. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm-
no, you did what we asked. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
You listened and that was nice. As opposed to the first meeting.
Yeah, honestly, impressive ability of listening and coming up with solutions, because I think that makes everybody happy.
No, it was nice. It was a team
I'm surprised.
approach.
I thought there would be.
No,
some
we're,
hiccups.
we're team players here. We want this to be right for everybody.
I know, and we see that. That was great. All right, unless you have
So I would
anything to
just
offer.
ask that the applicant confirm that they've agreed to waive that 62 days for making a decision.
What happens is they'll have to make a decision now tonight, which could be a negative decision.
Well, yeah, if we're forced to, but we are gonna
Yeah,
stay here.
because they can't legally. So just for the record,
Well, it's gonna be we will have a meeting before 62 days. It will be up to
but
these
in the
people.
event, you can't make a decision within the 62 days because it's really dependent on the planning board.
Then they'd have to go through the process again with us. It'll be expedited. You have to do another public hearing. Is that what you're saying, right? No? Then it'll be just another month. Then that's not really on us.
Or I mean, then otherwise you'd have to have a meeting and have them come back just to agree to extend it if you're gonna go beyond the 62 days. So
Well, if that's the case, that's the case, but that's outside of our control, but we'll do the best we can to help you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, so to Ashley's question, are you guys saying yes, we're
Yes.
waiving? Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay, so then that was my question, so then you're fine.
Yeah, I think you know that was vague.
Clarifying.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, I just,
Nodding in agreement, no one's saying yes.
something verbally, that's my fault. All right, you're welcome to stay. We're gonna talk about scheduling our next date, our next meeting, see what we can work out real quick, and we'll do our January meetings, and if we have any village updates, we'll go through that, but you know, if you want to
We'll get out of
move
your
this
hair.
stuff out. You stay for the night to know when the date the next meeting is, so
Yeah, I
we'll
wanna-
work on
like-
that now. I'm
okay.
gonna pull my calendar out here.
It may be 62 days, you never know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, hopefully not.
Okay, so, all right. So I'm gone from the 3rd to the 17th. If the other three are here, anywhere around the, you know, from there, between there and the 10th, or Noah, when are you gonna be gone?
I am away through the 1st of March, and
Uh-huh.
then I just have a work thing on the 14th. Happens that day.
I don't really, March is pretty good for me.
Yeah, March is pretty good for me too.
I don't really, I mean, any time. I mean, if you, I mean, the 6th, the 7th,
Well,
the
can we-
8th.
if we have 3 people here the 14th, I will call in via Zoom.
Can't be here the
Well,
14th.
you won't be able to, so we can do.
So I could do like literally any other day
Okay.
except the 1st or the 14th. So,
How about, can we do it on that?
7th works for me.
We have planning board on the 7th and the 21st. We have village board on the 8th.
When is the availability for this room?
What's the 13th?
So
Yeah.
we're looking at Historic Preservation Commission. So we've got the 15th or the 16th of that week potentially that could work.
15th works for me.
15th is a Wednesday.
um,
Just make sure the 3 you can make it, because if something happens, then we gotta cancel the meeting.
I have a conflict on the 15th.
You don't need a return. Okay. Did
16th.
you hear that? Did you hear that? Sorry, actually, I was joking.
And again, you might not end up having this meeting, just thinking about what is floating around before you, but
Secret hasn't come back yet. There's almost no purpose unless someone else gets on the agenda.
I think it's
Yeah,
good to have one just in case you do need one, so.
So let's, is the 27th, is that the one you offered? just
Okay,
now?
how about this weirdness? How about the first?
What are the odds of them getting this back in 2 weeks? Zero.
I have a,
Yeah, so
I
no.
have a
that doesn't-
conflict on the first.
I was just saying first, second, third, because that's not gonna interfere with anything.
What are the odds of getting the sequel back before April 11th?
We have to schedule a public hearing still for the planning board for us. On when will we be on for the planning board meeting? 7th of March, we believe.
I was planning to schedule it for the 7th, so the
we'll
next meeting.
Schedule a public hearing, hopefully on the 7th, which would not be until the first week of April, most likely.
Normally.
So
April 11th would be fine with you.
That day.
maybe, yes.
But then we're.
April 11th is within 62 days.
And
Well,
they've
that's-
waited, the 62 days isn't an issue.
True, but we're within that anyway, so we're good. I like that. You want to just do
So
April
should we just-
11th?
so should we just cancel our March meeting and not reschedule a March meeting? Or should we pick a date?
I mean, if somebody needs to get on the schedule,
The only thing I'm thinking is the 123 Main Street that you've adjourned, that you might not need to do anything with that one. It might be resolved on its own, but if you do, then that would be one that you would have to make a decision
we
on.
adjourn to the next meeting, so the next meeting would be April 11th, that's all. They waited this month to get a decision out of us. They can wait a little longer. I mean, they've been the ones delaying it. I'm not gonna be in a rush to look at, hear that case per se, when they've been adjourning it for the last 5 months.
No, it's been longer than that.
So
Longer
then
than
you
that,
could,
since the summer.
you could
Actually-
simply then cancel the March meeting unless
Okay.
Autumn, if you're aware of anything that might be coming down.
You want to put,
It's the applications we
do
have.
we want to do something for March? The only thing I would consider doing is this, if it's open. I would consider doing March 28th. It gives the applicant 2 weeks prior in case something does pop up, or if anything new presents itself on the agenda that we would need to address.
We can do an option like.
What about the 27th?
What about doing?
We never had a meeting. What are you talking about?
What about the 27th?
for the
I
16th.
can't do the 27th.
What about the 16th, Ashley?
I say we stick with the cancel plan. This is.
It's not really working here.
Yeah.
How long is the tenant landlord meeting?
Why don't we have it?
I've never gone to one.
This,
How about-
this meeting should have been over already.
Yeah, I know. We're
We're
just spending
not
more
on
time working on a date. Uh,
So painful.
It's
so-
really.
I could do
only a
this,
20
the 16th or the 29th. So the 29th is a fifth Wednesday, which usually that means
Why don't we
there's not a
put something
regularly
tentatively-
scheduled.
Tentatively on for the 29th. If no new I can always cancel, we can always cancel. If there's no new applications, or we can't move on this applicant's,
perfect.
And it'll
application,
be canceled.
then, or nothing new has popped up, we'll just let it ride to the 11th.
Sounds good.
Look at that.
So if you could just approve a motion to reschedule the March meeting to the 29th, Autumn, does that work for you?
The 29th of March.
Yep.
Yeah.
In March.
I'll
Was it
make
the
a
29th?
motion to reschedule our March meeting to March 29th.
All in, you want me to second it? I'm the chair. I don't have to. second.
Second,
You want to say all in favor? Roll
No, I
it.
want you to.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so tentatively scheduled for March 29th. And we will monitor that as we get closer. Thank you, guys. All right, so with that said, we got a few other things that we need to do real quick. This was funny. I spent more time doing that. Has everybody looked at the January meeting minutes? Actually, I didn't see them.
yeah, I didn't see it.
I was gonna say, I was gonna just, if everybody said yes, I was gonna assume that I missed them. Okay, okay, we can approve them next meeting. It doesn't matter. Half the time, John didn't even approve them when he was here. Any village board updates? I don't see anybody from the village board here.
I note that the Lalo Group will be speaking to the village board next Wednesday about the proposed development in the pit.
Oh,
When is that?
Next Wednesday.
is that,
Clock right here.
is that the hotel pit? We've been talking about that for years.
Mm.
Drop a hotel where that, the land behind over
Right
here.
over there.
They're gonna, there's been talk about putting a hotel there for a very long time. Okay, it would be a nice thing. We have a gentleman here from the outside. Would you like to address the board? Did you come for any reason or just to see how we operate?
been here before.
Yeah, he's been here.
I know.
You don't have to try that.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
You just hanging out?
No.
Are you a fan? We've never had a fan before. It's great. Glad that you- Okay, great to have a fan. All right, is there any village board updates? Yeah,
I already have my.
this is my 8th year on this board. The 8 years. Who would have thought? No village updates?
Other than the Lala group thing.
No?
really,
Okay. Well, anybody can go to that. Also, if anybody's, any other, I see that we are starved for volunteers for our boards, so I promised the man I always throw a little shout out to if anybody has. It'd be great to come on board. I just joined the landlord tenant relations board and there's always room for good relations, so we're working on that. So obviously, we do appreciate whatever we can do.
I want to join the affordable housing board.
That's a worthwhile board. and I think I might even get involved more with that too.
Yeah.
So, all right, can I get a motion then to close the February 14th, 2023 Village of New Paltz Zoning Board of Appeals
Motion to
meeting?
close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Who's your favorite board, Autumn? Thank you, Ashley. Good night.
Have a good night.
I always get like Saturday Night Live anchor, like, let's